Today let's discuss the importance of getting a proper diagnostic done on your car. So here we've got a Genesis G70 engine. It's a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged unit, and we all know Hyundai engines can't hold a connecting rod. Supposedly cylinder number 3 has a low compression, but let's say you wanted to buy this engine used or buy a car with a problem and fix it up. Let's take at some of the things to look for under the hood. First thing we'll do is check the basics. We'll check the oil level, quality, and if it smells like fuel, and then put that back and run away. Then we'll look under the oil cap and inside the engine for any residue of sludge. Sometimes you can see the timing chain inside of there, and if it's not timed, well, you just got a chain sitting there. Then we'll just take a look at the overall condition to see if anything's out of place, it's been worked on a lot like a lot of Genesis vehicles are, or if recent parts have been replaced. And then we're going to look for oil leaks across the valve cover, maybe the turbocharger. This one you can see a slight timing cover leak in this armpit area here. Then we'll whip out the scan tool and see what the computer thinks it's wrong. In this case it was throwing a misfire in cylinder number 3. Now at this point you can start switching coils and plugs around to rule out your misfire. Now if that doesn't rule things out, it's time to break out some tools and turn the engine over to feel what we feel. I feel some compression here. We're also going to listen if there's any clunking or knocking from the timing system or the connecting rod. Now at this point, as long as you've got a starter attached, we can run a compression check. We want to check to make sure all the cylinders have a decent amount of pressure consistent with each other. Now I'm starting to suspect something. Maybe it's a head gasket issue or an issue with the valve, or the piston doesn't exist. I'm going to whip out my coolant pressure tester, which is this guy here, and then I would pop this on the radiator cap and pressurize the system to 15 psi, and then come back in a while and see how much that pressure dropped, which would indicate a leak in the system. Now you gotta remember that diagnostic time does not pay, especially if you're a technician in the flat rate world. Consumers don't want to pay for extra diag time, so it's in your best interest as a technician to find out the problem as fast as possible so you can quote out the consumer and then watch them run away as fast as possible when they see the final repair bill. And for that, having a little inspection camera like this one is absolutely critical for doing quick diagnostic work. Vevor sent this one out to me for review, so let's take a look at all the things it could do. Now this camera is pretty cool. It's handheld. I can take pictures and video with it. My favorite feature with it is that you can swivel the head almost 180 degrees in both directions so you can see who's sneaking up behind you. Now this one turns on the LED light. This one takes pictures at the top here. We've got our on and off settings. We can flip the image 180 degrees, replay pictures, and take video. Now this cord's about 3 feet long, which is fine for automotive purposes. If you're working in HVAC, you'd probably want the longer version. Alright, let's pop these ignition coils off. Alright, let's get our sparks out of there. Now you'd want to inspect your spark plugs. These ones look original. Number 3 does have a little bit of oil on it, but I don't know if this has been swapped around from when they diagnosed this originally. Now as we make our way down the hole there, you can see there's quite a bit of oil built up above where the spark plug threads are. And I'll just fish my way in. Look at that, it's all soaked up in oil. I'm going to push this down all the way. You can see the oil, and we can also take a look at the cylinder scoring. So remember, I can use this wheel here to actually move the camera. Check out all the scoring on that cylinder. That's rough, bro. See, scoring is really in this area over here. Alright, let's go down all the way and turn the camera all the way around on itself so we can take a look at the valves. The top of the combustion chamber shows it's pretty wet. Now that could be due to very leaky valve stem seals that are just pouring oil right into the cylinder, causing it to, of course, to misfire, or the tube seals on the spark plug hole. Now the main reason we're here is to inspect these valves, and I'm taking a look at some of them and I don't see like anything's burnt off or bent. Everything looks like it's been seated properly. I can spin this the other 180 degrees around this way to get the back end, and we can take a look at the other valves here. This is the direct injector. Now we're coming out of cylinder number 3 and we're going into cylinder number 2. First of all, you can see it's really dry going in there. Now right away you'll notice that this piston top is a lot drier. There's not much oil inside of here. First, let's check the cylinder walls. They're nowhere near as scarred as the other side. Let's check the other side here. Okay, there's a little bit of scarring over here. Beautiful shot. You can see the valves are open on this cylinder. You can probably almost see if there's carbon built up inside of there. Again, I don't see any damage on these valves here. They're not nearly as oily as cylinder number 2. Here's a look at the other side, the other 2 valves that are closed. So far my little camera's told me that I've got an oil intrusion issue in cylinder number 3. So that could either be a leaky valve stem seal or a really bad oil spark plug tube seal, which is just fouling up the spark plugs, causing it to run really rough. Worst case scenario, there's an oil galley running next to cylinder number 3 that's leaking through the head gasket into the cylinder. That would be really bad. Now if it was coolant leaking into the cylinder instead of oil, you could pressurize that cooling system, as I said before, and use this little camera to watch little drips of coolant dripping into the cylinder. Now if you know, there's a catalytic converter that's mounted up to the turbocharger, and that's got an air-fuel ratio sensor sitting on top of it. If you can unscrew that, if it's not already rusted together, you can push this camera inside and take a look inside of the exhaust stream. Now first we could go in and take a look at our turbocharger. If we suspect the seals are blown, and this would be all oily, as we would have a lot of smoke coming out from the exhaust. So you can also scope out some really long hoses, like this radiator hose that goes up to the back here where we've got this coolant temperature sensor. That's the coolant temperature sensor sticking out over here. Now I can make my way and go in a little bit. I'm gonna go in a little bit. This is inside the manifold itself. Then I'm going to turn this way, and I'm looking inside of the engine block. Now this is a direct injected engine, and I do see a manifold absolute pressure sensor over here. Alright, let's do this together. We're going to go into the manifold pressure sensor, and here you can make out the back of the throttle body. Somehow I don't believe this car has 110,000 kilometers on it. So we determined easily that we need a throttle body service, and look where the throttle body is. It's all the way on the bottom here, plus all the intake piping. You'd have to get off to take a look at it. Sometimes you do get a little stink on the camera, it messes up. Yeah, so here's a closer look inside the intake valves. You can see how nasty it is. It's very common for these direct injected engines to suffer from this kind of carbon buildup, and as I've mentioned before, very easy to diagnose. Just 2 bolts, sensor comes off, and you're in there and you already know the condition of your engine. You can also use these cameras inside the vehicle if you're looking for leaks inside of the heater core, or your wife lost her wedding ring somewhere in here. I just put the camera down inside of the dash here, and you'll see the mixer doors. So sometimes if your mixer doors aren't working, you can operate them on the dash and see if the flaps are moving or if they're stuck. And you'd find that out in seconds instead of taking apart the whole dash. You ever wonder what this hole is for on the side of your door? And there's a look inside the door cavity. Now one downside of the screen here is that there's so much glare. Speaking of auto body, you can push this camera down any little bolt hole inside the frame. As you can see here, there's a lot of rust inside of there. That's not something I expected. You can also use the camera for in-vehicle inspection. For example, at the front here, I can easily see the valve cover starting to leak. But this is a V6, which means there's another bank at the back here, which could probably be leaking as well. And I'd like to look at it before getting into this job. So I'll just go ahead and snake by inspection camera down there. Alright, so before I even got to the valve cover, here I am behind the power steering pump. And you can see, so here's a good look at the valve cover. You can see that it looks pretty drippy and juicy, which means that I will have to take care of this pretty soon. Let me know if you guys want to see a video on replacing the valve cover gaskets on this engine. However, I do see a little bit of drippage down there on that alternator bracket nut, which I hope is not the cam seal. I wonder out loud here if we can actually get a real look at the timing belt. So took off this bracket and this bolt, and it's covered in oil. So my inspection camera is in there. If you turn it backward facing me, you'll see that we've got the timing belt, and then there's oil all inside of this timing cover, going all the way down towards the water pump area here. Because of that, I'm likely going to call it a cam seal. Further, this is the water pump. I could see the date code on it. It says 13/7, which is perfect because the timing belt sticker on here was replaced in November 2013. It's a little difficult to see what the teeth actually look like because timing belts don't really wear by the teeth. I'm so tempted to go inside of the transmission here, so I hope this is fluid proof. Ta-da! Can we turn? Alright, that looks like a baffle. I just stunk my camera. There's fluid all over my face. But hey, at least I know the fluid's not burnt. It's a good thing you have donated shirts. You don't have to worry about nastying your good ones. Camera lens seems to actually get nasty a lot. Give me too many ideas. Let's see if it'll fit in the engine diffs. Going in, I am looking at oil. There is some deposits in this engine. I thought it would be a little bit cleaner than that. A little bit tarnished. There's definitely some tarnishing going on. Yeah, and that's my oil level. Oh crap, I stank the lens. Coming back out. Everything's all yellow now. I bought this van with a claim of $10,000 of damage in this rear quarter panel, so I'd be interested to take a peek at what's going on inside of there. So we're looking downward here, and you can see that there is rust forming from the inside. So no matter how much I try to patch this guy up, it's going to be crusty. Alright, so we're in behind the quarter panel here where the back panel joins to the quarter. And I noticed some sus stuff here. If you look, you'll see that there's those dark spots. You see those dark spot welds that they kind of like look like they actually burnt through the metal. Usually spot welds are not supposed to burn through the metal like that. The factory doesn't have it burning through the metal and galvanization like that. Honestly, if anything, this camera's got me more worried about my cars than feeling safe. And that's a look at this Vevor inspection camera and some of the things it can do. I think it's pretty handy to have an inspection camera around, especially if you're doing diagnostic work on vehicles today. If you're interested in this camera, check the link down below to pick one of these up. Now I want you to tell me in the comment section down below, what do you think of the use of video inspection tools, especially as engines get more and more complicated and compacted like this Maserati engine here. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification icon if you want to see the full teardown on this Maserati engine as well as this Volkswagen engine beside it.